Whoa. Hold on. Stop right there. I'm not going to bore you and talk about Caleb Williams is going to USC because everyone in the country, we saw it coming. I even tweeted about it, confirming it over a month ago. We knew this was going to happen. You could see it from a mile away. It was inevitable. Like I said, I'm not going to bore you and talk about the obvious stuff. We're going to talk about what they're not telling you about Caleb Williams and his situation. There's a lot, and let me emphasize a lot of stuff they're not telling you about his decision. We're going to talk all about it. As always, if you're new to the channel, you like what you see, you like college football content, consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the family. Leave a like, do all that nice stuff. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. To get the ball rolling, I want to throw this out there. You got many people saying, oh, Oklahoma fans, they're mad about it. I don't think so. They knew this was going to happen 2 months ago. And if you didn't think this was going to happen, how do I say this in the nicest way possible? You're an idiot. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Williams didn't go to Oklahoma because he liked the landscape and he liked the city. He went there for Lincoln Riley. It's not just Lincoln Riley, it's the same thing with any great coach. You don't go to Alabama for the city. You don't go to Clemson for the city. You go for Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the stuff that nobody is talking about that is arguably the most important. At first, when Caleb entered the transfer portal, you had a lot of people saying, oh, why would he leave Oklahoma? It's a great program and he's the #1 quarterback. Why would he go somewhere else? Ladies and gentlemen, it is a classic and a great example and a great case of you don't want to be a big fish in a small market. Why do you think celebrities don't stay in their hometown and they go to LA, Florida, or a fancy city? Because they outgrew that hometown and they really can't even go back there. There's nothing for these celebrities, rich people, whatever you want to call them, in their hometown. They outgrew the people, they outgrew the environment, and they outgrew everything. You never want to be the richest or the smartest man in the room. It's better to be the poorest and the dumbest man in the room because you can get smarter. You see what I'm saying? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're not going to get any smarter. But if you're the dumbest, the only way you can go is up. That's why you see a lot of famous people go to LA, because they want to surround themselves with other famous people so they can level up and get on that category with them. As corny as it is to say, I've heard it my entire life, but the older I get, I believe it's almost 100% true. You are who you hang with. If you hang out with losers, you're gonna be a loser. If you hang out with winners, you're gonna be a winner. I know exactly what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, what in the heck does this have to do with anything with Caleb Williams? Give me some time, I'm getting there. It all correlates and goes hand in hand. It's rumored and said to be true, if you put a shark in a fish tank, it will only grow up to 8 inches or 2 feet. However, if you put that same shark in the ocean, it can grow up to 8 feet or even more. Why is that the case? It's simple. Because of its environment. Not just sharks, but me, you, everyone watching this, we're a product of our environment. If you're around small-minded people, you're going to be small-minded. But if you're around people who dream big, you're going to dream big. It's all about your environment. And Caleb has simply outgrown the Oklahoma environment. A lot of you out there have this false perception of, oh, he's only going to USC for the money, and it's not just that. It's about the people and the connections he can make out there. Let me ask you a real and legit question. Are you more than likely to meet a millionaire in California or Oklahoma? I'm going to pray and hope you said California, because if you said Oklahoma, you're an idiot. In this life, if you haven't figured it out, it's not necessarily about what you know, it's about who you know. Networking and building connections is one of the most underrated and best assets any person can have. And what USC can offer Caleb Williams, not just in money, but networking, is far beyond what Oklahoma could even imagine. But whoa. Hold on. Let's not forget to bring up this piece of information that nobody is talking about either. Oklahoma and their staff didn't do themselves any favors of having a chance of getting Caleb Williams to come back once they hired a defensive-minded head coach. Do I think hiring Brent Venables was the wrong guy? No, absolutely not. I think he was the best guy you could have hired. Overall, I think it's a great hire. He's passionate. He's what the Oklahoma fan base needs. I think it's going to work out, but only time will tell. Unfortunately, as much as I love the hire and I think it's going to be great for Oklahoma, it wasn't good for trying to retain Caleb Williams. Why is that, you may ask? Because Caleb is a quarterback and you hired a, you know where I'm going with this, defensive-minded head coach. Although Caleb might like Brent Venables as a person and he thinks he's a good defensive coach, It doesn't get you too excited when you're on the offensive side of the ball. Let me put it this way into a better perspective so some of you out there understand. If you're a high school recruit, you're a 4 or 5 star, and you play on the offensive side of the ball, and you hear the name Lincoln Riley, your eyes light up and you're like, oh yeah, I want to play for that man. On the flip side, if you hear the name Brent Venables, you're not going to get too excited about it, and you're not really going to want to play for him because when you think of him, you don't think of offense. When you think of Brent Venables and you're an offensive player, you don't automatically think, oh, I'm going to have a breakout year and I could be a first-round pick. On the contrary, when you hear Lincoln Riley, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get over 1,000 receiving yards, I'm going to throw for 5,000 passing yards, and blah, 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 blah. I can't for the life of me, and it baffles me as to why nobody brought that up when talking about all of this. If you think hiring Brent Venables didn't have a say-so or a major factor in his decision to leave, you're out of your mind. If you think I'm wrong, I'll offer you this. Do you think he might have had a better chance of staying if Oklahoma hired Lane Kiffin? Even when I hear Lane Kiffin, if I'm an offensive player, my eyes are going to light up, and that's a coach I want to play for. So when it comes down to it, and you're a 5-star quarterback, you're about to go to the NFL, and you have to decide between Brent Venables and Lincoln Riley, it's not even a debate. Oklahoma didn't do themselves any favors by hiring Brent Venables, but I'm not saying it's the wrong move. It was just the wrong move if you wanted to get Caleb Williams to come back. There's no way, not even as an Oklahoma fan, a college football fan, but just a person in general, where you would sit up here and say, oh yeah, he should play for Brent Venables over Lincoln Riley. You'd just be flat out stupid to go with Venables over Riley. Riley's a proven and great quarterback coach, despite what some of you think about him. And Venables, he could be a great quarterback coach, but we haven't seen him do it. That right there is what they're not telling you and what you're missing on all of this. Let's take a look at this tweet from Klatt. He said, with Caleb Williams at quarterback for USC, they'll likely be a top 10 team and a solid dark horse pick for the college football playoff in 2022. College football has desperately needed West Coast Pac-12 relevance, and it seems like we have it now. I agree, and let me say it again, I agree 100%, because hey, after 8 or 9 or 10 p.m., I don't even care to stay up for the Pac-12 games because the past 4 to 5, 6 years, none of it's been exciting and worth watching. But now going into next year, I'm going to catch myself staying up till maybe 1 a.m. because I'm going to be sitting there thinking, oh crap, what is Caleb Williams doing? I got to see him play. How many times have I said it on this channel? Maybe 10,000? Caleb Williams is one of the most exciting players in the country, and he's must-see TV. You got to watch him play. I don't even know how to describe it. There is something about his game where I'm like, oh crap, when does Oklahoma play? I got to get home and see them play. I can't miss it. And now going into next year, you're going to have that factor at USC. It's not just great for USC in the Pac-12, it's great for us. It's great for all of college football. We need some diversity. It's not rocket science. Everyone's tired of seeing the SEC dominate. I want to see some of these other schools compete. Do I think USC is going to knock off the Alabamas and Georgias of the world? No, they're far from that, but at least they're going in the right direction. Caleb Williams isn't that good to knock off the Alabamas just yet, but I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't be shocked if they got to the playoff. I mean this in the most disrespectful way possible. The Pac-12 sucks. They're like the cousin that comes around at the family gatherings that nobody likes. The Pac-12 is awful. I think if you put a LSU, a Michigan State, who else, a Pittsburgh in the Pac-12, they'd go 11-1 or maybe 12-0 every single year. The Pac-12 is that bad, and I'm not overestimating it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, BYU went 5-0 against the Pac-12 last year. Embarrassing if you had to ask me, but yeah, it is what it is. Someone wrote this under the tweet saying Caleb went to USC and said, smart move. He couldn't handle the heat of the Big 12. A nice soft Pac-12 schedule should be much easier on him. I think the person who wrote that intended it to be hate towards Caleb Williams, but he's absolutely right. It is the exact same thing with Lincoln Riley. Why would you go to the SEC where it is insanely hard to compete week in and week out when you can go to the Pac-12, being one of the best states in the country, in the world? You can chill and relax and play an easy schedule. It's just common sense. Who wouldn't do that? Me, you, every single person out there would make that decision. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather play UCLA and Arizona State or Alabama and Georgia? It's a no-brainer. Why would you want to play in the toughest conference in the world when you can go to the Pac-12 and have a cupcake schedule? On a serious note, if Williams plays in all 14, 15 games, however many it winds up being, I don't see why he wouldn't throw for nearly 6,000 yards. Who's going to stop him? Okay, maybe 6,000 was pushing it, but for sure 5,000. Last thing, before we end off this video, you know what's so funny about all of this? Old Lincoln Riley, you know what he did today? After Caleb announced his decision, he went to Twitter, and all he tweeted out was a peace sign emoji. You want to talk about a certified menace to society? That's Lincoln Riley. I'm sure a bunch of you watching this, you either play high school sports or you have played high school sports. Could you imagine your varsity basketball coach? He leaves the team, but that wasn't good enough. He takes your star point guard with him, and then out of nowhere, he just goes on Twitter and tweets out a peace sign emoji. That's the equivalent of what's going on. I don't know another way to describe it. If that's not a menace to society and disrespect, I don't know what is. I salute Lincoln Riley, because to me, it's just funny. If you take life serious, you got to get over yourself. You just got to calm down and relax. But yeah, this video was already longer than I anticipated it to be. In conclusion, Caleb Williams didn't have a choice. What do you want him to do? Play for a defensive-minded coach? That's all I got to say. Let me know your thoughts down below. But with all that being said, it's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hey, are you still watching? I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. We're super close to 170,000. Thank you guys so much. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.